We will not be cowed by threats, and we will continue to send a clear message through our actions and not just our words. North Korea's refusal to meet its international obligations will lead only to less security, not more. Yet there is another path that can be taken, working in tandem with our partners, supported by direct diplomacy. The United States is prepared to offer North Korea a different future. Instead of an isolation that has compounded the horrific repression of its own people, North Korea could have a future of international integration. Instead of gripping poverty, it could have a future of economic opportunity, where trade and investment and tourism can offer the North Korean people the chance at a better life. And instead of increasing insecurity, it could have a future of greater security and respect. This respect cannot be earned through belligerence. It must be reached by a nation that takes its place in the international community by fully living up to its international obligations. By fully living up to its international obligations. So the path for North Korea to realize this future is clear. A return to the six-party talks, upholding previous commitments, including a return to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and the full and verifiable denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. And full normalization with its neighbors can also only come if Japanese families receive a full accounting of those who have been abducted. These are all steps that can be taken by the North Korean government. These are all steps that can be taken by the North Korean government if they are interested in improving the lives of their people and joining the community of nations. And as we are vigilant in confronting this challenge, we will stand with all of our Asian partners in combating the transnational threats of the 21st century, by rooting out the extremists who slaughter the innocent, and stopping the piracy that threatens our sea lanes, by enhancing our efforts to stop infectious disease, and working to end extreme poverty in our time, and by shutting down the traffickers who exploit women, children, and migrants, and putting a stop to this scourge of modern-day slavery once and for all. Indeed, the final area in which we must work together is in upholding the fundamental rights and dignity of all human beings. The Asia-Pacific region is rich with many cultures. It is marked by extraordinary traditions and strong national histories. And time and again, we have seen the remarkable talent and drive of the peoples of this region in advancing human progress. Yet this much is also clear. Indigenous cultures and economic growth have not been stymied by respect for human rights. They have been strengthened by it. Supporting human rights provides lasting security that cannot be purchased in any other way. That is the story that can be seen in Japan's democracy, just as it can be seen in America's democracy. The longing for liberty and dignity is a part of the story of all peoples. For there are certain aspirations that human beings hold in common. The freedom to speak your mind and choose your leaders, the ability to access information and worship how you please, confidence in the rule of law, and the equal administration of justice. These are not impediments to stability. They are the cornerstones of stability. And we will always stand on the side of those who seek these rights. That truth, for example, guides our new approach to Burma. Despite years of good intentions, neither sanctions by the United States nor engagement by others succeeded in improving the lives of the Burmese people. So we are now communicating directly with the leadership to make it clear that existing sanctions will remain until there are concrete steps toward democratic reform. We support a Burma that is unified, peaceful, prosperous, and democratic. And as Burma moves in that direction, a better relationship with the United States is possible. There are clear steps that must be taken. The unconditional release of all political prisoners, including Aung San Suu Kyi, an end to conflicts with minority groups, and a genuine dialogue between the government, the democratic opposition, and minority groups on a shared vision for the future. That is how a government in Burma will be able to respond to the needs of its people. That is the path that will bring Burma true security and prosperity. These are steps that the United States will take to improve prosperity, security, and human dignity in the Asia-Pacific. We will do so through our close friendship with Japan, which will always be a centerpiece of our efforts in the region. We will do so as a partner through the broader engagement that I've discussed today. We will do so as a Pacific nation with a president who was shaped in part by this piece of the globe. And we will do so with the same sense of purpose that has guided our ties with the Japanese people for nearly 50 years. The story of how these ties were forged dates back to the middle of the last century, sometime after the guns of war had quieted in the Pacific. It was then that America's commitment to the security and stability of Japan, along with the Japanese people's spirit of resilience and industriousness, led to what's been called the Japanese miracle, a period of economic growth that was faster and more robust than anything the world had seen for some time. In the coming years and decades, this miracle would spread throughout the region, and in a single generation, the lives and fortunes of millions were forever changed for the better. It is progress that has been supported by a hard-earned peace and strengthened by new bridges of mutual understanding that have bound together the nations of this vast and sprawling space. But we know that there's still work to be done so that new breakthroughs in science and technology can lead to jobs on both sides of the Pacific and security from a warming planet, so that we can reverse the spread of deadly weapons, and on a divided peninsula the people of South can be free from fear and those in the North can live free from want, so that a young girl can be valued not for her body but for her mind, and so that young people everywhere can go as far as their talent, their drive, and their choices will take them. None of this will come easy, nor without setback or struggle. But at this moment of renewal, in this land of miracles, history tells us it is possible. This is the America's agenda. This is the purpose of our partnership with Japan and with the nations and peoples of this region. And there must be no doubt, as America's first Pacific president, I promise you that this Pacific nation will strengthen and sustain our leadership in this vitally important part of the world. Thank you very much. Thank you.